这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
In the blue water, the sea turns red in seconds, and every shark rushes in without thinking. Long before the phrase showed up in newsrooms and business talks, it lived in the ocean. Sailors in the 19th century wrote in their logs about sudden storms, broken masts, and the sight that scared them most. A whale was cut open by hunters, blood spread across the waves, and dark fins sliced through the foam. The sharks did not circle with care. They crashed into one another. They bit wood, rope, even each other. The calm sea became wild. Old sea journals called it a wild feed, a rush of teeth, a boiling of water. By the early 20th century, more people were reading about the sea than sailing on it. Nature writers tried to find words that felt as sharp as the teeth they described. In the 1920s and 1930s, some reports began to use the term feeding frenzy. The word frenzy was not new. It once meant a kind of madness, a loss of control. When paired with feeding, it painted a clear picture. Creatures so driven by hunger that they forgot fear, forgot order, forgot sense. The phrase gained power after the Second World War. Warships had crossed the oceans, and many sailors had seen sharks gather when food hit the water. They told stories in bars and in print. Magazine writers picked up the image. In one famous ocean report from the 1950s, a diver described tossing scraps overboard. At first, one shark came. Then another. Within moments the water shook. Fins struck each other. Bodies rolled. The diver wrote that it was a feeding frenzy, a storm made of muscle and teeth. Readers felt the panic on the page. Then something changed. Reporters began to look at their own cities and see the same rush. In the 1960s, when a company failed, photographers crowded the door. Microphones pushed toward any face that stepped outside. One paper wrote that the press had fallen into a feeding frenzy. The image fit too well. Like sharks to blood, reporters rushed toward scandal. They bumped into each other. They shouted over each other. Calm thought sank below the noise. The phrase moved again in the 1980s. This time it swam into the world of money. When a new stock went on sale and people feared missing out, buyers did not walk, they ran. Phones rang without pause. Papers were signed in seconds. Prices shot up fast and then fell just as fast. A business writer said the market was in a feeding frenzy. The words carried salt and spray from the old sea stories, but now the ocean was made of cash and fear. Behind the phrase sits a simple truth about living things. Hunger can turn calm into chaos. In the wild, hunger keeps an animal alive. Yet when many animals feel it at once, order breaks. Scientists who study sharks explain that the scent of blood travels far in water. A small cut can call in hunters from a long distance. When they arrive together, each one tries to grab more than the next. The rush grows on itself. The water churns harder because the sharks sense the struggle. It feeds on its own energy. Human beings are not so different. The smell is not blood. It can be money, fame, gossip, fear, even hope. In the gold rush days of the 19th century, news of one rich strike brought waves of men across rivers and mountains. Camps rose in weeks. Prices soared. Fights broke out. Many left with nothing. The pattern was clear even if the phrase had not yet become common. A crowd chasing one bright prize can lose its balance. There is a small-town story from the Midwest in the early 1990s. A rumor spread that a famous singer would visit a local mall. The story had no strong proof, but it was enough. Teens skipped school. Parents left work early. Cars packed the lot. When a black car pulled in, people ran. Some tripped. Some cried. The car door opened, and out stepped a tired salesman with no idea why he was being stared at. No singer came that day. The town paper later joked that the crowd had worked itself into a feeding frenzy. People laughed, yet they also felt a sting. They had rushed without pause. The phrase carries a warning. In nature, a feeding frenzy does not last long. Once the food is gone, the sharks drift apart. The sea smooths out as if nothing happened. In human life, the mark can stay longer. A company ruined by wild trade may not rise again. A person chased by harsh rumor may carry scars for years. Words thrown in heat can hang in the air long after the crowd has moved on. Still, the image remains powerful because it is honest. It does not hide the force inside a group. It shows teeth. It shows speed. It shows how fast we can move when we think something rare is slipping away. That is why the phrase has lived for nearly a century in print and speech. From sea logs to front pages, from nature films to talk shows, feeding frenzy paints a scene that feels real. Picture a quiet street where a new bakery opens and gives out free bread. At first, a few people step in. The smell drifts. A line forms. Someone posts a photo online. Within an hour, the line wraps around the block. Voices rise. Elbows press. The bread runs out. Some laugh and walk away. Some argue. The owner locks the door and leans against it, heart racing. No sharks, no ocean, yet the pattern is the same. The phrase endures because it holds up a mirror. It asks a hard question. When the water around you turns red with chance, do you rush with the fins, or do you hang back and watch? Each of us has felt that pull. A hot trend. A sharp rumor. A sale that seems too good to miss. The heart beats faster. The mind narrows. The crowd moves, and we move with it. The old sailors who saw real sharks knew something simple. Step back from the edge of the boat when the water starts to boil. Keep your balance. Wait for the sea to calm. The same advice fits the streets and screens of modern life. When noise rises and everyone pushes forward, that may be the moment to slow down.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。